Hey guys, happy Friday. You made it through another week. Let's talk about Railtown AI. I know this is a little bit of a divergence because you guys don't normally hear me talk about OTC stocks. Just a rule of the channel. How did I get involved looking at Railtown? You know, those pumpers who pushed stocks like MMTLP, GTII, Finger, and all of those, you know, the tickers are the ones that everyone lost a lot of money on because they were told they were going to $1,000 when Finger was pushing up, and I had a position in Finger at $1. When it was pushing up to $5 and I said, good time to take profits, everybody starts piling on to Tony Denaro saying he works for the shorts because I'm trying to take care of you and make sure you lock in profits. When I hear people lie to you, slander me, say that I'm working for the shorts, I'm going to dig into any ticker that they're covering because I don't like liars. And that is how I found Railtown. And my initial coverage a couple months ago, back in June, was just looking at some of the basics of Railtown. This is a pre-revenue company. They have no revenue, and it is a company that is a gamble on some news. Let's pull up this press release from February. Railtown announcing that they executed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, for the acquisition of AI Partnerships Corp. That was back in February. We're in August now. And as you can see on page 2, it says that back in February, they were expecting to announce a letter of intent in coming weeks. We're 6 months past February now. But as I spent some time looking into Railtown and AIP, as I've talked to you guys about over the past couple months, as I dug into them a little more, I started feeling, you know, these management teams are pretty legit. Now, this is still a pre-revenue OTC company, so I can't guarantee you anything, and nobody should be talking to you guaranteeing timelines either about when the due diligence on Railtown and AIP between the two companies, when that due diligence is done. I do think that they're getting very close, but you know, if you're getting emotional because it's taking longer than you thought, if you're getting emotional having to make up imaginary bad guys to blame, maybe you shouldn't be putting dates out there for people, and then you wouldn't have to make excuses. Just something to think about. I don't know. In previous videos on Railtown over the past couple weeks, I've gone through a couple of different scenarios of how this acquisition could play out. It's an interesting one for everybody to learn on. I don't think anybody knows exactly what is going to happen, myself included. I've tried to give you guys a couple of buckets to analyze, to think about, just to get you in the mindset of understanding how to try to analyze things, to try and assess risk, because there is risk in any ticker. Any ticker. It's not picking on Railtown to say it's risky, but we do have to accept the fact that the company has no revenue, and as long as they don't have revenue, as they disclose in their own quarterly filings, they will need to continue to raise additional money. Although, from what I've seen, the longer and more I dig through their financials, and I've talked to the company now 3 times, it looks like they're being very reasonable about their cash raises. Yes, they are still raising cash. Yes, they will still need to raise more cash. But this is certainly not the worst that I've seen out there, maybe one of the best in terms of companies that are pre-revenue, that are carefully managing their cash raise. And I, again, think that goes a long way to talking about the professionalism of the management teams. As it says in the middle of the page on the left, part of this new entity, part of the reason of bringing these two companies together is that Railtown is a publicly traded company. It trades under the ticker RAIL in Canada, or RLAIF on the OTC in the US. Railtown is public, AIP is private, and AIP is a larger company with a bunch of affiliates underneath it. And when this new entity comes together, they will have access to the public markets, something that AIP does not have right now. And that will give them the ability to go out and raise money through debt or selling shares, dilution, to execute, as they say here, their broader strategic roll-up. So I am excited about the possibility of a stock price pop on the news that this acquisition is moving along. Whenever that news comes out, then we will wait and see. But, you know, it's very early. We have no details whatsoever. And really what I want you to do is when that letter of intent comes out, you've already probably got your trading plan in place, I hope. Whether your plan is to trade out on the pop or to hold into the longer term, I want you to go read that letter of intent to make sure you understand it. Don't get your information from anybody else, including me. Or if you are getting your information from other folks, make sure you're taking in a variety of opinions and doing true due diligence. Honestly, I would recommend that you read the documents carefully when they come out, assuming this deal goes through, and do your own due diligence. That is the best way. And then you can own the results, you can own the outcomes, and you don't have to blame anybody else. Whether we are right or wrong on what happens with Railtown, own your choices. I do have a speculative long position in Railtown. No, I'm not short the ticker. No, I'm not working with the shorts. Just a bunch of conspiracy, nonsense, lies, slanders that you hear about me. I make my own decisions. I do my own DD. I share my process with you guys. If it's not what you want to hear, that doesn't mean I'm working with the shorts. And if you are of such a conspiracy mindset, then, you know, my channel is probably not the right one for you, because I'm honest with you guys and I expect you to take me at my word. I added to my long position in Railtown this week as it dropped below 50 cents here. There were folks a week ago urging you to buy at 68 cents, saying you're never going to see prices this low again. This is why I put out things like the supply and demand zones to help you understand what the chart is likely to do based on momentum until the day that we get news. And it is likely to trade in this range between 60 and 35 cents. And the longer it takes to get news, the more likely it is to go down. But whether it goes down or not, I think it's safe to say range bound in this price looks like what it wants to do. So hopefully we get news sooner rather than later from Railtown. And I feel pretty good about next week. No, I'm not making any predictions, but I think, you know, they're coming up on 6 months. And I know it is a lot of work to get all of the due diligence done. Fight for your valuations, fight for your shareholders, both companies. And once that process is done, hopefully they come to an agreement and we get a letter of intent. I will be watching next week. And if the price goes down while we're waiting on news, I might pick it up if it gets down. Some additional shares I might pick up if it drops down into that range below 40 cents, but we will see. Let me know your comments or questions down below. Thank you for watching. I am Tony Denaro, and I will see you on the next video.